From the surreal to the crazy to downright bizarre, this is Weird Finds. Now, if there's one genre of film that I feel is underrated, it's gotta be science fiction. When I was in film school, my professors would rant on and on about how there's no such thing as good science fiction, until I blurted out, "What about 2001?" To which then I would either get a long blank stare or get kicked out of the classroom. Whichever came first. But this is probably just due to the fact that with every good science fiction film that comes out, there's a dozen crappy ones. And even worse, sometimes a truly great one would come out, but end up getting thrown out with the rest. So that's why I wanted to make a list of great science fiction films that have either been ignored, undiscovered, or just plainly forgotten. This is the top 5 underrated science fiction films. Number 5. Natural City. Picture Blade Runner, but with a greater emphasis on the love story, a little more action, and Korean. What you would get is Natural City. It's essentially a less challenging, more traditionally narrative cyberpunk film, but with a few tricks of its own up its sleeve. It's a very beautiful film to look at, filled with great special effects that I feel are better than any modern-day Hollywood movie, especially ones with robots. If you are a cyberpunk fanatic and you're still waiting for that big screen adaptation Neuromancer, don't hold your breath. You owe it to yourself to watch Natural City. Number 4. Stalker. I'm ranking this one a little low on the list, not because of quality, but because it's simply not for everyone. Created in the Soviet Union by who I feel is the greatest Russian director ever, Andrei Tarkovsky, this film is truly a thinking man's sci-fi. It's spiritual, questioning, mystical, and even a little bit political. If your love of sci-fi involves lasers, robots, and aliens, then Stalker is definitely not for you. But if you want some food for the mind with a side dish of the surreal, then this is truly a must-see. Just keep in mind, this film takes its time telling its story. Number 3. Metropolis. No, not the Fritz Lang silent film classic, but the anime adaptation of the Osamu Tezuka manga. I remember when this film got released back in 2002, it got praised everywhere it went. It was even somewhat successful. I actually saw it in the theater back in high school. For a while you would see it in someone's list of top favorite anime, but I don't know if anyone truly appreciated it. And then all of a sudden, it vanished. And no one has mentioned it since. I actually forgot all about this film myself until recently when I went to the video store. It's surprisingly still as good as I remember it being, especially the animation, to which looks better than I remember it. It's a great film, and a truly great example of what the blending of 2D and 3D animation should look like. It has a great story, and is quite touching at times. Even if you're not a fan of anime, I still say give Metropolis a look. You won't regret it. Number 2. Existenz. Talk about bad timing. David Cronenberg's Existenz was released a month after The Matrix. This underrated gem about alternate reality is a truly underrated film. To those that saw Existenz in the theater, either thought it was an average David Cronenberg movie or a ripoff of The Matrix. But if you do a closer inspection, you realize this film is a breed all its own. It's a mixture of venereal horror, science fiction thriller, and a little something else only Cronenberg can provide. Oh, and it also has Jude Law in it, with an American accent.
That thing was designed to get past any kind of metal or synthetics detector.
If you get the chance, don't pass up Existenz. It's icky gooey fun with a brain. And the number 1 most underrated science fiction film of all time is Dark City. If Existenz was bad timing, then Dark City was just plainly cursed. Released a full year before The Matrix, this film did not get the attention it deserved. Much like The Matrix, it too also deals with alternate reality. But whereas The Matrix is more of an action movie, Dark City is a pure-blooded science fiction thriller that mixes the elements of film noir, horror, and even a bit of surrealism. Not only was this released first, The Matrix even shot a few of its own scenes on some of Dark City's leftover sets. Plus, this film has Kiefer Sutherland's best performance ever.
This one is still warm. What is it? The recollections of a great lover?
And in my opinion, this is the last film that I think Jennifer Connelly was still hot in, before she got all Skeletor on us. People ask me which film I like better, The Matrix or Dark City, and I always choose the latter, because I feel it's more unique and intelligent, especially if you take in consideration the 2 shitty Matrix sequels that came after. Just make sure you watch the director's cut. So on your next trip to the video store, take a look at some of these titles. You might just thank me.